Have you noticed how insincere people can be? It's a harsh reality, but here's the truth. At some point, most people will let you down. This isn't because the world is against you, but because it's simply human nature. Before you get too upset, consider this. How many times have you expected someone to act a certain way, only to realize that their priorities don't match yours? Exactly. This is why, as Stoic philosophy reminds us, we cannot control others, but we can control how we respond to them. Instead of exhausting yourself trying to change people, accept that they won't always meet your expectations. It's tough, but the sooner you accept these 10 harsh realities, the better you'll handle them and enjoy life more. Number 10 is especially challenging. Ready to learn about them? Now, if you are new here, please like the video and subscribe. Statistics show that only 15% of my audience is subscribed to the channel, so if this content has helped you in any way, I ask you to subscribe and hit the notification bell. 1. Time waits for no one. One certainty in life is that time is relentless. No matter how much you try to hold on, the clock keeps ticking mercilessly. And here you are, watching it slip through your fingers like grains of sand. Sometimes you wonder about the people around you and how they've influenced your life. Maybe you've wished they could stop, adjust to your expectations, or at least behave in a way that doesn't hurt. Here's the harsh truth. Time waits for no one, and surprisingly, neither do people. People have a way of disappointing us. It's not that they're inherently bad, but simply because they are who they are. There's nothing more liberating and simultaneously cruel than accepting that people act according to their own interests and limitations, not yours. For example, if you expect a friend to stay the same after they've changed priorities in life, you're setting yourself up for disappointment. It's like trying to calm a storm just because you don't want to get wet. No matter how much you wish it, the storm will follow its course. You might think you can change people with your advice, patience, or love, but in reality, you're up against a natural force stronger than any influence you could exert. Accepting that people won't adjust to your desires is as essential as learning to navigate a turbulent river without expecting the waters to calm just because you want them to. If you really want to improve your life, focus on adjusting your expectations and finding ways to navigate life's currents without exhausting yourself in vain. So how can you accept this harsh truth without it being painful? Stoic philosophy offers an interesting perspective. According to the Stoics, we should focus on what we can control and accept what we cannot. Instead of expecting people to change, focus on how to respond to their actions and how to adapt your life to keep moving forward despite their limitations. It's like adjusting your route when you encounter an unexpected detour. It can be frustrating, but it doesn't stop you. It allows you to move forward more efficiently. So here's the trick. Accept that people will be who they are. Don't try to change them or waste your time expecting them to behave differently. Instead, direct your energy toward improving your ability to handle life's surprises. Adjust your expectations, accept people as they are, and above all, don't waste time waiting for someone to fit your idea of who they should be. After all, time waits for no one, and neither should you. At the end of the day, it's healthier to focus on what you can control. What will you do with the time you have? That's the real question. As Mario Alonso Puig says, life doesn't stop because you expect others to change. It moves forward as quickly as the clock. 2. Suffering is inevitable, but you choose how to handle it. Ever feel like life is just one hardship after another? If you think that way, you're not wrong. But here's the twist. Not all suffering has to be a tragic ordeal. Yes, suffering is unavoidable, but how you deal with it is entirely up to you. Think of life as a host of a grand party, where suffering is an unwelcome guest you can't avoid. Whether it's a bad day at work or a chaotic relationship, suffering shows up uninvited. But the real issue isn't the suffering itself, it's how you choose to handle it. Stoic philosophy teaches us that while we can't control what happens, we can control our reactions. It's like having a superpower that turns chaos into opportunity. So, how can you choose better? First, accept that people, this unpredictable bunch, will inevitably disappoint and complicate your life. Think of them as ingredients in a recipe that don't always mix well. Instead of getting upset over the final dish, learn to adjust the recipe. This means setting clear boundaries, communicating effectively, and most importantly, understanding that your well-being doesn't depend on others behaving as you want them to. Here's a tip. Instead of seeing every conflict or disappointment as a personal attack, view it as a lesson. Did your friend let you down at a crucial moment? Instead of stewing in anger, ask yourself what you can learn from it. Was it a lesson about trust or about not relying too heavily on others? Think of suffering as a sort of emotional workout. It's painful, but without lifting those emotional weights, you'll never build strength. Suffering, in this sense, is like a tough trainer who forces you to improve. The point isn't whether suffering will come, but how you'll grow from it. So, the next time suffering knocks on your door, don't panic or play the victim. Remember, you can choose how to act. Life may be full of challenges, but your response can turn suffering into a powerful tool for growth rather than a script you're stuck following. As a wise Stoic saying goes, we can't avoid the storms, but we can learn to dance in the rain. So when suffering arrives, remember, it's inevitable, but your reaction is your choice. Ready to take control? 3. Not everyone will like you. Have you ever thought you could be the next Steve Jobs or Messi if only people understood you? If you've imagined yourself as a version of yourself that everyone loves, I have some news. You're in for a rude awakening. The truth, though painful, is that not everyone will like you, and that's okay. Let's face the harsh reality. There's no magic formula to be loved by everyone. Imagine you're at a party, and while everyone seems captivated by you, someone in the corner criticizes you for being out of style. What do? Hide in the bathroom to cry? No, you keep enjoying the party because, in life, you can't be the hero of every story. Stoic philosophy teaches us that others' opinions are beyond our control. Worrying about being liked by everyone is like trying to catch water with your hands. As Epictetus wisely said, don't worry about what you can't control. So if someone criticizes you, think of it as a passing shower. It might get you wet, but it won't drown you. In business, companies know that not every customer will buy their product, so they focus on those who are truly interested. Why should your personal life be any different? If someone isn't interested in getting to know you, don't waste energy trying to change their mind. Focus on those who do value you. Think of yourself as a brand. Not everyone needs to be a customer. Can you imagine Apple trying to convince everyone to buy an iPhone? Absurd, right? Instead, Apple focuses on its loyal customers. You should do the same. Focus on those who appreciate your qualities, not on changing the minds of those who don't. Accepting that not everyone will like you is liberating. You won't have to carry the heavy burden of universal approval. Live your life for yourself, not for others. If you keep seeking everyone's favor, you'll lose yourself in the process. And honestly, who wants to be the person always seeking approval? It's far more freeing to live authentically with all your flaws and strengths and let others adjust, or not. As my grandfather used to say, you can't be the coffee everyone likes. Try that, and you'll end up as lukewarm water. 4. Expectations lead to disappointment. Expectations. They're the perfect machine for generating disappointment. Ever wonder why it's so hard to deal with people? It's as if everyone around you signed a secret contract to frustrate you. But here's the truth. They probably didn't. The problem isn't with them, but with your expectations. This is where Stoic philosophy comes in, teaching us a vital lesson. Excessive expectations lead to disappointment. Picture this. You're invited to a party, expecting it to be the event of the year. But when you arrive, you find a dull room, outdated music, and a subpar buffet. Total letdown. Sound familiar? Here's the harsh truth. People usually don't follow the script you've written for them. We expect our friends to always be understanding, our co-workers to always be competent, and the world to follow our rules. But reality is much more chaotic and unpredictable. The Stoics understood this perfectly. According to them, our distress doesn't come from events themselves, but from our expectations of those events. The first strategy to handle disappointment is simple: adjust your expectations. Instead of expecting everything to go perfectly, accept that life is chaotic and people won't always behave as you'd like. If the party is mediocre, at least you'll be able to laugh at the situation rather than feeling devastated. Another approach is to focus on what you can control, your reactions. Instead of getting frustrated because a friend didn't invite you to an event, try understanding that they have their own life with its own problems and priorities. Keep your expectations realistic and welcome surprises. People are as unpredictable as a soap opera, and if you stop expecting them to act like characters in a perfect script, you'll find it easier to enjoy the show. Finally, apply the mirror technique. Ask yourself if you're imposing impossible standards. People have flaws and virtues, and you're not the supreme judge of their behavior. Accepting this will not only make you more tolerant, but also free you from the burden of your own unrealistic expectations. Life is a theater where most actors don't follow the script you've written. If you learn to let go of those expectations and accept reality as it is, you'll save yourself a lot of suffering and disappointment. Stoic philosophy offers an ancient but effective remedy. Accept what you can't change and work on what you can control. As Jung said, expectations are the fertile ground where disappointments grow. Cultivate acceptance, and the garden of your inner peace will bloom. 5. Comfort is the enemy of progress. We live in a time where the sofa is the new throne and routine our religion. You've probably heard the saying that comfort is the enemy of progress, and maybe you dismissed it as a cliché. But it's more accurate than we'd like to admit. The harsh truths we prefer to avoid are the same ones that keep us stuck in our comfort zones, as if we're hugging a giant teddy bear instead of facing real life. Let's do a quick thought experiment. Imagine you're in a race, but instead of running, you sit comfortably on a sofa with a remote in hand. Absurd, right? Yet that's what happens when we cling to comfort. The sofa symbolizes all those habits, thoughts, and attitudes that keep us from moving forward. Sure, it's tempting, but what are you really gaining? Progress, like physical training, requires effort, discomfort, and sometimes even pain. This is where the harsh truths about people come into play. Most people prefer the comfort zone, where everything feels safe and predictable. But if you want to move forward, you need to understand that people won't always be the support system you'd like them to be. Not everyone will share your dreams or push you forward. Instead of expecting others to cheer you on, you'll need to be your own motivator, which might be uncomfortable but is essential. Stoic philosophy teaches us to accept what we cannot change and focus on what we can. If you expect the world to cater to your comfort, you're setting yourself up for disappointment. Instead, embrace discomfort as a sign of growth. If something bothers you, it's likely because you're stepping out of your comfort zone, a sure sign you're moving forward. So, how do you start breaking free from the tyranny of comfort? Here are some simple strategies. First, set small challenges that take you out of your routine. You don't need to run a marathon right away. Start by taking a different route to work or trying a new activity. Second, surround yourself with people who challenge you. You don't need a crowd of followers, just a few who push you to be better. Lastly, practice detachment from outcomes. Instead of obsessing over immediate success, focus on the process and enjoy the journey. In conclusion, accepting discomfort is accepting the possibility of growth. It may not be the most comfortable path, but it's the only one that leads somewhere meaningful. If you cling to comfort, you'll be stuck while the world moves on. So, get up, shake off the dust, and face those harsh truths. Progress isn't about avoiding pain, it's about using it to improve. You have now reached the halfway mark of the video. I congratulate you for trying to become a better version of yourself, and I also humbly ask you to leave a comment, as it helps my channel immensely. If you do not know what to comment, just write, "I have the power," so I know you reached this far. And don't forget to subscribe for more content like this. Also, I've linked some books on Stoicism that helped me become the man I am today, and will also help you achieve a Stoic mindset. The world owes you nothing. Earn your place. Have you ever caught yourself feeling like the world owes you something? That feeling creeps up when the coffee spills, traffic turns into torture, or life simply doesn't meet your expectations. It's funny how we sometimes expect life to be a bed of roses, free of thorns or challenges. But the truth, as harsh as it may be, is that the world owes you nothing, absolutely nothing. Let's be honest, if you've ever thought the universe is just waiting to grant you favors, I'm sorry to break it to you, but that's not how it works. Instead of waiting for things to be handed to you, you should be figuring out how to earn them. This is the tough reality that Stoic philosophy lays out for us. The Stoics teach us that instead of expecting life to treat us in a special way, we should focus on improving our attitude and actions. Imagine you're in line for concert tickets. You're waiting patiently, but someone cuts in front of you. Your natural reaction is to get angry, thinking the world is unfair. It's understandable, but that guy is still ahead of you in line. Here's where the Stoic principle comes in. Instead of wasting energy on frustration, use that time to prepare yourself or find another solution. Sometimes, the real victory is in how you handle adversity, not in avoiding it. Of course, this doesn't mean resigning yourself to endless suffering. The point is that your success doesn't depend on external circumstances, but on how you choose to face them. If you're always waiting for others to give you a push, you'll be stuck in an eternal waiting room. Instead, take control of your destiny. Your attitude, effort, and perseverance are the currencies with which you can buy the life you want. One effective approach is continuous self-evaluation. Ask yourself, what can I do to improve my situation? If you're unhappy with your job, instead of complaining, think about how you can learn new skills or change your focus. If you feel stuck in your relationships, consider whether you're giving your best or if there's something you can improve. This mindset of self-improvement not only helps you move forward, but also gives you a sense of control, freeing you from the frustration that comes with expecting the world to give you something it doesn't owe you. The world owes you nothing, but you owe it to yourself to earn what you desire. Life is more like a gym than a gift shop. You don't get anything without first putting in the work. Stop waiting for favors and start working for what you want. The real lesson here is that satisfaction and success are built, not handed out. Remember, it's better to be the architect of your destiny than to wait for the world to hand you a blueprint. As the saying goes, life will give you what you work for, not what you expect to receive. 7. Honesty isn't always the best policy. Have you ever been in one of those conversations that start with, "I'm going to be completely honest with you"? You know the ones where you brace yourself for a dose of reality so blunt you might as well put on a helmet. Honesty, while highly valued, can be a double-edged sword. In reality, the phrase "honesty is the best policy" doesn't always mean everyone will appreciate your bluntness. Sometimes it's more like, "I'm going to tell you the truth, and it might hurt." Think about it. Have you ever seen how a glass shatters when struck with a hammer? That's what happens when you deliver a truth that's too harsh. People aren't always ready to receive the truth in its rawest form, like a direct injection of sincerity without any anesthesia. And that's where the dilemma lies. Telling the truth is like cooking a delicate dish. If you're not careful with the spices, you can ruin everything. Imagine you're in a meeting and your chronically late co-worker asks you about their punctuality. If you're completely honest, you might say, "You're like a broken clock, you're always late." Sure, that's the truth, but it's also a recipe for making enemies. Stoic philosophy, which encourages us to accept what we can't change and act with serenity, offers guidance here. It's not just about telling the truth, but doing so with tact and empathy. This is where the strategy of sweetening comes in. No, I'm not talking about sugarcoating bitter truths, but rather wrapping them in a layer of tact. Instead of shattering someone's self-esteem with a harsh truth, present reality in a constructive way. For example, instead of saying, "Your presentation was a disaster," you could say, "There are areas where you could improve, and I have some suggestions that might help." Another technique is the gradual approach. Sometimes people need time to process difficult truths. It's not about lying, but about softening the impact, guiding someone gently rather than throwing them into deep waters. The idea is to lead people toward the truth, not hurl it at them. Honesty isn't always the best policy if your goal is to maintain harmonious and effective relationships. At the end of the day, telling the truth with tact and empathy is often more effective than bluntness. Remember, truth can be a gift, but it can also be a burden. The key is in how you choose to deliver it. So the next time you feel the urge to be brutally honest, pause and think, am I really helping with my sincerity, or am I just venting my frustration? Stoic philosophy teaches us that communication should be reflective and compassionate. As Gandhi said, truth doesn't need to be spoken with violence. It can be delivered with grace and still be powerful. Failure is the path to success. Ever wonder how some people see failure as a stepping stone to success, while others view it as divine punishment? Let's unravel this with a dose of realism and, if you'll allow, a touch of sarcasm. Imagine you're playing chess, but instead of following the rules, you make up your own. That's what facing failure feels like. Most people see it as absolute defeat, the kind where the hero doesn't save the day. But in reality, failure is more like an alternative script that, if played right, leads to the happy ending you desire. First, understand this harsh truth. People tend to overlook the effort behind success. The romanticized version of success skips the countless hours of work, sleepless nights, and numerous failures. Everyone wants the magic formula for success without crossing the desert of failure first. How convenient. Stoic philosophy, however, teaches us to accept that things don't always go our way and that suffering is part of the journey. The Stoics saw failure not as an obstacle, but as an opportunity to learn and grow. It's as if every time you stumble, instead of staying down, you're handed a map with new routes to explore. But how do you apply this in your daily life? Imagine you're learning to play the guitar. Every mistake, every off note isn't a reason to quit, but a step toward mastery. Every failure is like a rung on a ladder, seemingly endless, but leading to a much higher place. Now, let's talk solutions. The next time you face failure, instead of asking, "Why me?" ask, "What can I learn from this?" Do an honest analysis, not to make excuses, but to identify areas for improvement. If you fail at a presentation, don't dwell on it. Assess how you can improve your delivery or public speaking skills. It's like getting better at chess. You need to understand your mistakes so you don't repeat them. Also, shift your perspective. If you see failure as an enemy, you'll always be on guard, fearing mistakes. But if you see it as an ally on your path to success, every setback becomes a valuable lesson. This mindset shift can turn failures into disguised successes. Failure isn't the end of the world, but the beginning of new opportunities. Embracing a Stoic mindset lets you learn from your mistakes instead of being crushed by them. The next time you fail, remember, it's not a punishment, but a sign you're moving towards something greater. As Einstein wisely said, success is not the absence of failures, but the ability to rise after each fall. 9. Your dreams may not align with your life. Ever wake up feeling like your dreams and reality are in parallel universes? Those same dreams you cherish like a treasure in the attic of your hopes. Meanwhile, reality seems to be at a party you weren't invited to. Don't worry, you're not alone. It's quite common for our dreams to not fully align with our lives. Let's explore this discouraging truth with a touch of sarcasm, because sometimes laughing is the best way to cope with life's ironies. Let's talk about the expectations you have for your life. Imagine your dreams are like a big, juicy burger with all the fixings: cheese, bacon, that special sauce promising happiness. Now picture your real life as a plate of steamed broccoli, about as exciting as a Sunday afternoon at home. It's a brutal contrast, right? Reality has a way of turning grand dreams into mere longings, as if you were trying to mix water with oil. The truth is, you're often surrounded by people selling you the illusion that you can have it all, that success is just around the corner, like a supermarket special. Buy this course and get 2 free coaching sessions. Sure, and if you kick your life into gear, you might find nirvana. Here's where Stoic philosophy steps in. The Stoics knew that accepting reality without embellishment or excuses is the first step to true inner peace. They didn't live in a fantasy world. They understood that life has a cruel way of derailing plans. Instead of cursing fate, they adapted and found ways to move forward. It's not about giving up, but being realistic and finding practical ways to progress. To address the gap between dreams and reality, try a more pragmatic approach. Instead of chasing unattainable goals, set small, achievable ones. If your dream is to climb Everest, start with a nearby hill. Maybe steamed broccoli isn't the feast you envisioned, but over time you could add some spices and make it more palatable. The trick is to adjust your expectations without losing sight of your ultimate goal. Also, spend time getting to know yourself. Ask yourself what truly matters and what your priorities are. You may discover that the path to your dreams isn't a triumphant march, but a series of small steps, each with its own challenges. Learn to enjoy the moments when things don't go as planned. Those moments teach and shape you. In conclusion, your dreams may not align with your current life, and that's okay. Life is full of unexpected twists, and learning to navigate them with a smile is an art in itself. Stop comparing your broccoli to your dream burger and start enjoying each bite along the way. Maybe you won't become the hero of your dreams, but you can become an incredible version of yourself. As Marian Rojas rightly says, dreams are the fuel, but it's the acceptance of reality that ignites the engine. 10. Stop comparing yourself to others. How much time do you spend comparing yourself to others? It's as if life were a giant popularity contest where everyone's striving to be the coolest. But how often do you really win that competition? The truth is, Comparing yourself to others is an extreme sport that leaves you exhausted and disillusioned, not exhilarated. Imagine your life as a race where everyone runs with different shoes. While you're busy admiring your competitors' shiny sneakers, they're focused on their own races, facing their own challenges, and pursuing their own goals. Let's say you're at work and a colleague seems to have everything figured out: the promotion, the perfect family, the fit body. Have you ever wondered if that person might also envy something in your life? Maybe when they see how easily you make friends, they feel like they're missing something crucial. The fact is, we never really know what's going on behind the scenes. Stoic philosophy offers a valuable perspective on this. The Stoics believed in focusing on what's within our control and accepting what isn't. Instead of wearing yourself out by comparing your life to others, focus on improving your own. Your worth isn't tied to what others have or do, but in how you manage your own journey. So how can you stop comparing and start living better? First, identify and accept your strengths and weaknesses. Instead of trying to excel at everything, focus on improving in areas that truly matter to you. The real competition is with yourself, not with the rest of the world. Ask yourself, what can I do today to be a better version of myself? Second, limit your time on social media. These platforms are designed to make you feel dissatisfied by showcasing only the most perfect moments of others' lives. If you must check in, do it with a critical mind, aware that what you see is just a small part of the story. Practice gratitude. Spend a few minutes each day recognizing what you have and what you've achieved. Instead of focusing on what you lack, celebrate your victories, big or small. This doesn't mean ignoring your aspirations, but recognizing that you've already come a long way. Stop torturing yourself with comparisons. The only way to live fully is to embrace your uniqueness and make peace with the fact that everyone has their own path. True freedom comes when you stop comparing yourself to others and focus on your own journey. So the next time you're tempted to measure your life against others, pause for a moment and remember, in this race, only you can judge your own happiness. As Oscar Wilde said, it doesn't matter how fast you run to catch up with others. You'll always be in the wrong place if you don't love yourself first. Now, if any part of this message has been helpful to you, leave us your like and comment, helping the algorithm recommend it to someone who needs it at this time. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss new videos. And if you look through the videos we've already uploaded, you're sure to find something to take with you. Have a good day. Welcome to today's video, where we're diving into the powerful world of Stoicism and how it can shape your mornings for a better, more fulfilling life. Now, mornings are often the most chaotic time of the day for many people. You might wake up feeling stressed, immediately check your phone, and rush through your routine. But what if your mornings could be a time of reflection, growth, and purpose? That's where Stoicism comes in. If you're not familiar, Stoicism is an ancient philosophy that emerged from Greece and later flourished in Rome. Stoics like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus believed in a life guided by reason, virtue, and the acceptance of what we cannot control. But more than that, Stoicism is about action. It's about how we live every single day. And what better time to start living intentionally than in the morning? In this video, I'm going to walk you through 10 unique morning habits that are grounded in Stoic philosophy. These aren't your run-of-the-mill habits like journaling or meditation that you may already know. We're going to dig into some lesser-known practices that were followed by great Stoics and other historical figures who embodied the Stoic spirit. These habits will help you embrace discomfort, sharpen your mind, and start your day with purpose. Now, if you are new here, please like the video and subscribe. Statistics show that only 15% of my audience is subscribed to the channel, So if this content has helped you in any way, I ask you to subscribe and hit the notification bell. So let's get into it, starting with the first habit. Wake with the perspective of the transient nature of time. Let's start with a practice that immediately shifts your perspective and sets a tone for your day. Memento mori, remembering that you will die. I know it sounds morbid, but in reality, this habit is one of the most liberating you can develop. Each morning, before you get out of bed, remind yourself that your time is limited. You only have so many days to live, and today could be your last. This was a central idea in Stoic philosophy, particularly in the writings of Seneca. In his famous work, On the Shortness of Life, Seneca emphasized how we waste much of our time without realizing it. We live as if we have endless tomorrows, but in truth, time is slipping away. The Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic thinkers, started his mornings with this very reflection. He wrote in his Meditations about how we should live each day as if it were our last, not in a reckless way, but with a sense of urgency and purpose. Marcus Aurelius ruled one of the greatest empires in history, but even he didn't take a single day for granted. When you wake up, don't just hit the snooze button and drift through your morning routine. Instead, take a moment to remind yourself that time is fleeting. This practice isn't meant to fill you with dread. On the contrary, it's meant to help you appreciate every moment you have. When you understand that your time is limited, you stop wasting it on trivial things. You focus on what truly matters. How can you apply this? Start your morning by lying still for a minute or two and reflect on the fact that your time is finite. Ask yourself, if this were my last day, what would I want to accomplish? Use that reflection to prioritize your day. The tasks that don't matter will fall away, and the things that really make a difference will rise to the top of your list. This practice is powerful because it pushes you to take action and live fully in each moment. It's easy to get lost in daily distractions, but memento mori pulls you back to what's important. It builds a sense of urgency and appreciation, which can be the driving force behind everything you do throughout the day. Rehearse for obstacles. Next up is another core Stoic practice, but one that's not as commonly discussed: premeditatio malorum, or the premeditation of evils. This habit is all about mentally preparing yourself for the difficulties that might arise during your day, even before you step out of bed. Picture this: you've just woken up, and before you get caught up in the rush of the day, you take a few moments to visualize the potential obstacles you might face. Maybe you anticipate a difficult meeting at work, a traffic jam, or a disagreement with a colleague. Instead of hoping these things won't happen, Stoicism encourages you to assume they will, and then plan how you'll respond calmly and effectively. Epictetus, one of the key figures in Stoicism, often emphasized that while we can't control external events, we can control how we respond to them. When we expect challenges, we aren't blindsided by them. Instead, we're prepared, and we maintain our composure when things don't go as planned. A great example of this practice comes from the life of Scipio Africanus, the famous Roman general. Although he wasn't a Stoic philosopher, his strategic approach to battle reflects this Stoic mindset. Before going into battle, Scipio would mentally rehearse the challenges he might face on the battlefield, the unexpected movements of the enemy, possible defeats, or the loss of soldiers. By doing this, he was always prepared for the worst and could adapt quickly when things didn't go according to plan. For you, this might mean anticipating an argument with a family member or visualizing a project at work not going smoothly. By imagining these scenarios in the morning and rehearsing your responses, you arm yourself with the mental strength to remain unfazed when things don't go as expected. How do you integrate this habit into your routine? It's simple. After you wake up, take a few minutes to scan your day. Ask yourself, what could go wrong today? But don't stop there. Also ask, how will I handle these situations with stoic calm and reason? By rehearsing these challenges in your mind, you will be better equipped to navigate them with grace and composure when they actually occur. This habit is like mental armor. It doesn't make the problems go away, but it helps you face them head-on without losing your peace of mind. In the chaos of life, premeditatio malorum helps you remain grounded and unshakable. Embrace voluntary discomfort. First thing now, let's dive into a habit that's all about building resilience: voluntary discomfort. The Stoics believed that exposing yourself to small, controlled discomforts made you stronger and more capable of handling bigger challenges down the road. In modern terms, we might call this resilience training. Seneca wrote extensively about the importance of practicing voluntary discomfort. He suggested that we should periodically deprive ourselves of luxuries to remind ourselves that we can live without them. This might mean sleeping on the floor for a night or fasting for a day. When we practice going without, we build mental and physical toughness. We realize that we don't need the things we've become so dependent on. Cato the Younger, one of the most respected Stoic figures, took this idea to heart. Despite his position as a prominent Roman senator, he deliberately wore simple, rough clothing and even walked barefoot through the streets to train himself to be indifferent to physical discomfort and public opinion. Cato's practice wasn't about showing off. It was about preparing his mind and body to endure hardships without complaint. So how can we apply this Stoic principle to our modern lives, especially in the morning? One way is through controlled physical discomfort, like taking a cold shower or exercising on an empty stomach. These small intentional discomforts force you out of your comfort zone and build resilience over time. Take a cold shower, for example. The moment that cold water hits your skin, your body wants to resist. But this is where Stoicism comes in. Instead of reacting with frustration or discomfort, you remain calm and accept it. You train your mind to stay composed in the face of adversity. Another way to practice this in the morning is by delaying breakfast. Try fasting for the first few hours of the day. This isn't just about physical health. It's about training your mind to control your cravings and impulses. By choosing to go without food for a short period, you remind yourself that you are in control of your desires, not the other way around. The beauty of this habit is that it's scalable. You don't need to start with extreme discomfort. You can begin with small steps, like turning the water slightly colder at the end of your shower or pushing your breakfast back by an hour. Over time, you'll find that these moments of voluntary discomfort strengthen your mental fortitude and help you remain steady when life throws bigger challenges your way. Conduct a brief Sympathia meditation. As we continue building a Stoic morning routine, it's essential to expand your mind beyond your personal concerns and think of the bigger picture. That's where this next practice comes in: Sympathia, or the understanding that all human beings and events are interconnected. This idea is central to Stoicism and can be a transformative way to start your day. Sympathia is the recognition that you are part of a larger whole, a web of interconnected people, nature, and events. The Stoics believed that by reminding ourselves of our place within this interconnected universe, we could cultivate compassion, patience, and a sense of duty to others. Marcus Aurelius frequently wrote about this in his Meditations, often reminding himself that his actions affect not only himself, but the entire community and the world. Starting your morning with a brief Sympathia meditation helps broaden your perspective. Instead of focusing solely on your personal struggles or to-do list, this habit helps you remember that you are part of something larger than yourself. It shifts your mindset from a narrow, self-centered view to a more expansive, compassionate one. Imagine waking up and taking just 5 minutes to sit in stillness and reflect on your place in the universe. Think about how your actions today might ripple out to affect others, your family, your colleagues, even strangers. This reflection fosters a sense of shared responsibility and reminds you that we're all in this together. Historical examples of this practice include Marcus Aurelius, who often wrote about the importance of acting in service of the greater good. He saw himself not just as an emperor, but as a citizen of the world, responsible for the welfare of all. His decisions were not made in isolation, but with an understanding of their impact on the broader community. Why is this good for you? A daily Sympathia meditation fosters a sense of connection and empathy, helping you navigate your day with more patience and compassion. It's easy to get caught up in your personal struggles, but this practice reminds you that your life is part of something much larger. It reduces feelings of isolation and self-centeredness, helping you approach life's challenges with a more balanced and generous mindset. To incorporate this habit into your morning routine, take a few minutes after waking up to reflect on your interconnectedness with others. You can sit quietly and think about how your actions today could benefit those around you. Consider your role within your family, community, and the world. This reflection helps you start your day with a sense of purpose and shared humanity, ready to contribute positively to the world around you. Fast until mid-morning. One of the central virtues of Stoicism is temperance, which refers to moderation and self-control. In the modern world, where instant gratification is everywhere, cultivating temperance is more important than ever. One way to practice this virtue in the morning is through intermittent fasting, a deliberate exercise in controlling your impulses. In Stoicism, temperance means not giving in to excess or allowing your desires to control you. Musonius Rufus, a Stoic philosopher and teacher of Epictetus, spoke frequently about the importance of self-discipline when it came to food and drink. He believed that by limiting your indulgences, you could strengthen your mind and body and become less dependent on external pleasures. For centuries, fasting has been a way to practice self-discipline. By delaying your first meal until mid-morning or even later, you train your body to live without immediate gratification. But more than that, you teach your mind to control your cravings. It's not about punishing yourself, it's about strengthening your willpower and reminding yourself that you don't need to give in to every desire. Musonius Rufus often recommended periods of fasting to his students as a way to exercise control over their desires. He believed that by mastering something as fundamental as hunger, you could learn to master other aspects of your life as well. In Stoic philosophy, controlling your impulses in small areas leads to greater self-mastery overall. Why is this habit good for you? Fasting not only strengthens your willpower, but also brings mental clarity. Many people find that when they fast, especially in the morning, they experience sharper focus and more energy. By practicing temperance first thing in the morning, you're setting a tone of self-discipline for the rest of your day. To apply this habit, try skipping breakfast or delaying it by a few hours. Drink water or tea to stay hydrated, but resist the urge to eat until later in the day. Use the time you would normally spend eating to reflect on your ability to control your desires. As you develop this practice, you'll find that it becomes easier to apply self-discipline in other areas of your life, from work to relationships. Perform a mental cognitive distancing exercise. One of the core teachings of Stoicism is the idea that we are not our thoughts or emotions. Epictetus famously said, "It is not events that disturb people, but their judgments about them." This next habit is about practicing cognitive distancing, the ability to observe your thoughts without becoming attached to them. When you wake up in the morning, it's easy to get swept away by thoughts of what's to come, a stressful meeting, an argument with a partner, or a looming deadline. But what if, instead of reacting to these thoughts, you took a step back and simply observed them? That's what cognitive distancing is all about. In Stoicism, the ability to distance yourself from your thoughts is a key to maintaining emotional equilibrium. Epictetus often encouraged his students to remind themselves that external events are neutral. It's only our internal judgments that give them emotional weight. When you practice cognitive distancing, you're training your mind to separate fact from emotion, allowing you to respond rationally rather than react impulsively. Take a moment after waking to observe your thoughts. Instead of getting lost in them or believing that every thought is a reflection of reality, remind yourself that they are just thoughts. They come and go, and they don't define you. This practice helps you maintain perspective and avoid getting caught up in negative emotions or unproductive thought patterns. A modern example of this can be found in the work of Viktor Frankl, a Holocaust survivor and psychiatrist who was influenced by Stoic principles. Frankl observed that even in the most horrific circumstances, humans have the power to choose how they respond. He famously said, "Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response." Why is this habit good for you? Cognitive distancing helps you stay grounded and calm, even when stressful thoughts arise. It trains you to recognize that you are not your thoughts. You are the observer of your thoughts. This creates emotional distance, allowing you to respond to life's challenges with more clarity and control. To incorporate this habit, start your morning by sitting quietly and paying attention to your thoughts. When a thought arises, simply label it as a thought. Don't judge it or react to it. Just observe it and let it pass. This simple exercise will help you maintain emotional balance and a stoic calm throughout the day. Tactful practice, Amor fati. Visualization. One of the most profound yet often overlooked Stoic principles is Amor fati, or the love of fate. While Stoicism encourages accepting what happens in life, Amor fati takes this a step further by teaching that we should not only accept our fate, but love it. This practice can be especially powerful when done in the morning as a way to mentally prepare for the day ahead. Epictetus and Marcus Aurelius both emphasize the importance of accepting whatever happens with grace and equanimity. But Amor fati is about embracing your fate, no matter what it holds. Instead of merely tolerating difficulties, this principle encourages you to actively welcome them as necessary parts of your life's journey. When you love your fate, you see every experience, good or bad, as an opportunity for growth. In the morning after waking up, you can practice Amor fati by visualizing not only the positive things that may happen throughout the day, but also the challenges. Visualize a difficult meeting, a frustrating commute, or an unexpected problem, and instead of dreading these events, imagine yourself welcoming them. This is your fate, and it's exactly what you need to become the person you are meant to be. Marcus Aurelius practiced this daily. In his meditations, he often reflected on the nature of fate and how everything that happens is for the greater good of the universe. By embracing what comes, he found peace in the chaos of ruling an empire. This mindset allowed him to handle the immense pressures of leadership without becoming overwhelmed or resentful. Why is this habit good for you? By practicing Amor fati each morning, you cultivate resilience and optimism. You stop resisting the inevitable challenges of life, and instead see them as opportunities to grow stronger. This mindset helps you approach each day with enthusiasm, knowing that whatever happens is meant to shape you into a better version of yourself. To apply this practice, spend a few minutes in the morning visualizing both the positive and negative events that might occur. As you do, Repeat to yourself, "I love my fate, whatever it brings." This simple phrase will shift your mindset from resistance to acceptance, helping you face the day with stoic courage and optimism. You have now reached the halfway mark of the video. I congratulate you for trying to become a better version of yourself, and I also humbly ask you to leave a comment, as it helps my channel immensely. If you do not know what to comment, just write "better" every day, so I know you reached this far. And don't forget to subscribe for more content like this. Also, I've linked some books on Stoicism that helped me become the man I am today, and will also help you achieve a Stoic mindset. Choose to dress simply. Cultivate indifference to vanity. Let's move on to a more practical yet philosophically deep morning habit: dressing simply. In the modern world, a lot of emphasis is placed on appearance. People spend countless hours and money on clothing, makeup, and accessories, often in pursuit of approval from others. But Stoicism teaches that true confidence comes from within, not from external appearances. By dressing simply, you can practice indifference to vanity and focus on what truly matters: your character. Seneca often wrote about the dangers of vanity. He argued that those who are overly concerned with their appearance are slaves to the opinions of others. To be free, we must detach ourselves from the need for external validation. One way to do this is by choosing simple, functional clothing that serves its purpose without drawing unnecessary attention. Cato the Younger, one of Stoicism's most famous practitioners, was known for his simple dress. He deliberately wore plain, rough clothing, even in public, as a way to cultivate humility and indifference to societal expectations. Cato's focus was on virtue and integrity, not on how he appeared to others. Why is this habit good for you? By dressing simply, you remind yourself that your value doesn't come from your appearance, but from your actions and character. This practice frees you from the need for external validation and helps you focus on what truly matters in life. To incorporate this habit, choose simple, functional clothing each morning. Don't overthink your outfit or worry about how others will perceive you. Instead, focus on practicality and modesty. By doing this, you'll cultivate a sense of inner confidence and indifference to vanity, a core Stoic principle. Visualize your role as a citizen of the world. Our next habit focuses on a concept the Stoics called cosmopolitanism, the idea that we are all citizens of the world. This practice involves taking a few moments in the morning to reflect on your broader role as part of humanity, reminding yourself that your actions affect not only those immediately around you, but people all over the globe. This mindset helps you cultivate empathy, responsibility, and a sense of duty toward others. The Stoic philosopher Heracles is best known for explaining cosmopolitanism through the metaphor of concentric circles. He taught that we should imagine ourselves at the center of a series of expanding circles. The first circle includes your immediate family, the next your community, then your country, and finally all of humanity. Stoicism encourages us to gradually expand our concern from the innermost circle to the outer ones, seeing ourselves as part of a larger global community. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, frequently wrote about the interconnectedness of all people and how we are all part of a greater whole. He believed that by keeping this perspective, we could rise above selfish concerns and act in service of the greater good. In the morning after waking, you can practice this global perspective by reflecting on how your actions today might impact not just yourself or those immediately around you, but people across the world. This practice is about seeing the bigger picture and remembering that your role in life goes beyond your personal sphere. For example, How does the way you treat people at work ripple out to affect their families and communities? How can you contribute to a more just and compassionate world? Why is this habit good for you? By starting your day with a reminder of your role as a global citizen, you cultivate a sense of shared responsibility. This helps you approach your daily interactions with more empathy and care, recognizing that your actions have far-reaching consequences. It also helps you overcome self-centered thinking and fosters a mindset of service to others. To incorporate this habit, take a few minutes each morning to reflect on your role in the larger world. Think about how your actions, decisions, and even your attitude affect the broader community. Visualize the concentric circles of your influence, from your immediate family to the world as a whole, and remind yourself of your responsibility to contribute positively. Morning. Sunlight exposure. One of the core tenets of Stoicism is living in harmony with nature. The Stoics believed that aligning ourselves with the natural world is key to living a virtuous and fulfilling life. One simple yet powerful way to start aligning with nature is by exposing yourself to sunlight first thing in the morning. The Stoics viewed nature as a guiding force, and they believed that by observing and aligning with natural rhythms, we can live more peacefully and purposefully. Zeno of Citium, the founder of Stoicism, often taught outdoors, embracing the elements as part of his philosophical practice. Marcus Aurelius also wrote about nature frequently in his meditations, reminding himself that he was part of the natural order and should act accordingly. Morning sunlight is not only a way to connect with nature, but also a practical tool for regulating your body's internal clock, known as the circadian rhythm. Exposure to natural light in the morning helps reset your circadian rhythm, which improves sleep, boosts mood, and increases energy throughout the day. Why is this habit good for you? By stepping outside into the morning sunlight, you're not just waking up your body, you're also reminding yourself that you are part of the natural world. This simple practice helps you stay grounded, boosts your mood, and connects you with the Stoic principle of living in harmony with nature. To incorporate this habit, step outside for 10 to 15 minutes after waking. Spend this time in natural sunlight, whether you're taking a short walk or simply sitting quietly and observing your surroundings. Use this time to reflect on your connection to the world around you and remind yourself that you are part of the larger natural order. Set an intention for virtuous action, a morning mantra. In Stoicism, virtuous action is the path to a meaningful and fulfilling life. The Stoics believed that by living in accordance with virtue, specifically the four cardinal virtues of wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance, we can find happiness and peace of mind. A powerful way to set the tone for your day is by choosing a specific virtue to focus on and setting an intention to embody that virtue in your actions. This practice was used by the Stoics to ensure that their daily actions were aligned with their values. Marcus Aurelius, for example, often reflected on the importance of virtue in his morning routine, reminding himself to act with justice, courage, wisdom, and temperance in all his decisions as emperor. He would reflect on how each moment was an opportunity to live virtuously, regardless of the challenges he faced. In the modern world, setting an intention for virtuous action is a way to ground yourself in the principles that matter most. Instead of going through your day on autopilot, this practice helps you remain mindful of your values and encourages you to act with integrity. Why is this habit good for you? Setting a morning intention focused on virtue helps you stay aligned with your deepest values throughout the day. It reduces the likelihood of getting caught up in trivial concerns or reacting impulsively to challenges. Instead, you approach situations with clarity and purpose, guided by the virtue you've chosen to focus on. To apply this habit, start by choosing one of the 4 Stoic virtues each morning: wisdom, courage, justice, or temperance. For example, if you choose courage, you might remind yourself to be brave in the face of uncertainty or to speak up when it's necessary. If you choose temperance, you might focus on practicing self-control in your decisions. After selecting your virtue, spend a few moments repeating an intention or mantra to yourself, such as, "Today, I will act with wisdom in all I do." This will serve as a mental anchor, helping you navigate your day with virtue in mind. Nasa. Review your day in advance. Another powerful Stoic habit for the morning is what I like to call prospective reflection. While Stoicism is often associated with reflection at the end of the day, the morning offers a unique opportunity to look ahead and mentally prepare for what's to come. This practice is about taking a few moments to review the upcoming events, tasks, and interactions of the day, and preemptively planning how you will approach them with Stoic composure. Marcus Aurelius frequently used this technique in his meditations. He would remind himself that throughout the day he would encounter difficult people, unexpected challenges, and temptations. By anticipating these events in advance, Marcus was better prepared to meet them with calm, rational responses instead of being swept away by emotion or frustration. This habit is similar to premeditatio malorum, which we discussed earlier, but it's more focused on positive action. Instead of just rehearsing potential difficulties, you are actively planning how you will embody Stoic virtues during your day. For example, if you know you have a stressful meeting later, you can decide in advance to approach it with patience and understanding. Or if you have a busy day ahead, you might remind yourself to stay focused and maintain your composure. Why is this habit good for you? By reviewing your day in advance, you reduce anxiety and mentally prepare yourself for the challenges ahead. This habit helps you maintain control over your emotions and ensures that your actions are aligned with your values and principles. Instead of reacting to events as they happen, you proactively decide how to handle them with Stoic wisdom. To incorporate this habit, spend a few minutes after waking up reviewing the key events of your day. Think about the interactions you will have, the tasks you need to complete, and any potential stresses. As you do, plan how you will approach each situation with patience, wisdom, and emotional control. This simple practice will set the tone for a calmer, more intentional day. Practice voluntary simplicity. The final habit in our Stoic morning routine is the practice of voluntary simplicity. This concept goes beyond dressing simply. It's about starting your day with as little complexity and excess as possible. The Stoics believed that unnecessary indulgence in luxuries and distractions leads to a cluttered mind, while simplicity fosters clarity and focus. Seneca, in his writings, emphasized the importance of living simply, warning against the dangers of overindulgence and material excess. He argued that true happiness comes not from accumulating wealth or possessions, but from cultivating a calm and focused mind. By practicing simplicity, we remind ourselves that we don't need external luxuries to be content. In modern life, starting your morning with simplicity might mean avoiding technology for the first hour, choosing not to clutter your space with unnecessary items, or keeping your morning routine as streamlined as possible. Instead of rushing through a hectic morning filled with distractions, you can deliberately create a calm, minimalist environment that helps you focus on what truly matters. Why is this habit good for you? Voluntary simplicity helps you clear mental and physical clutter, allowing you to start the day with focus and purpose. It encourages you to be more intentional about what you consume, whether that's food, media, or material possessions, and fosters a sense of contentment with less. To incorporate this habit, try reducing unnecessary distractions in your morning routine. For example, you might decide to keep your phone in another room during breakfast or opt for a simple, nourishing meal instead of something more elaborate. Simplify your surroundings and focus on the essentials, whether that's spending time in quiet reflection or taking care of your most important tasks. By starting the day with simplicity, you cultivate a Stoic mindset of moderation and clarity. Conclusion: integrating Stoic wisdom into your morning. As we wrap up this video, let's take a moment to reflect on the 10 Stoic-based morning habits we've explored. These practices go beyond simple routines. They are deeply rooted in Stoic philosophy and designed to help you live a more intentional, virtuous life. From memento mori to practicing voluntary discomfort, each habit is meant to strengthen your mind, build resilience, and help you approach the day with clarity and purpose. By starting your day with these Stoic habits, you set a strong foundation for the rest of your day. You're more prepared to face challenges, more in control of your emotions, and more focused on what truly matters. Whether it's practicing gratitude, reflecting on your role as a citizen of the world, or embracing the natural world through sunlight exposure, each habit brings you closer to living in harmony with the Stoic principles of wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. Remember, these habits don't need to be overwhelming or time-consuming. Start small, maybe pick one or two to try this week, and gradually build from there. The key is consistency. The more you practice these habits, the more you will see the benefits in your daily life. Stoicism is about living with virtue and purpose, and there's no better time to start than in the morning. By integrating these practices into your routine, you're not just improving your mornings, you're cultivating a Stoic mindset that will carry you through every challenge and triumph the day brings. Thank you for joining me on this journey through Stoic morning habits. I hope these ideas inspire you to create a more mindful, intentional morning routine. Stay resilient and remember, you have everything within you to live with virtue and strength. Now, if any part of this message has been helpful to you, leave us your like and comment, helping the algorithm recommend it to someone who needs it at this time. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss new videos. And if you look through the videos we've already uploaded, you're sure to find something to take with you. Have a good day.